This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to an episode of This is a Good Movie podcast. I'm Katie Hetledge.
And I'm Joe Bates.
And we've watched another movie, so we're here with you all. And as much...
That's okay.
If that's okay. And as much as I would love for us to get back into discussing good films, as the title of this podcast alludes to, Joe said, no, we can't move on. We need to talk some more about The Crow.
Oh, Crow segment. Caw, caw. Is that the Crow segment?
We're not doing a Crow segment. This isn't becoming a thing. You asked to share something about The Crow, and I'm allowing it.
I forgot to bring up one of the big reasons I wanted to talk about The Crow last week was because there's a wrestler named Sting who just retired, and he's been wrestling for like 40 years. Like one of the craziest wrestling careers ever. He started out with Ric Flair as like a tag team.
Okay, and what about him?
So the reason I bring him up is in the 90s, right around this movie came out, he was looking for a new gimmick. He was like a surfer guy, and he needed a new gimmick, and Scott Hall goes, hey man, you should see this movie The Crow. It's like this really cool thing, and you could be like, that could be your gimmick. So he goes and sees The Crow, and he has been the Crow character for 30 years.
I've never heard of him.
Sting is the most iconic non-WWE wrestler of all time.
Oh, okay. He's not WWE.
No, he's not. He did wrestle in WWE in one match, but he is like mainly a WCW, TNA, AEW guy. If you're the Crow, isn't that basically The Undertaker? Yes, that's a good point. He didn't want to do it at first because he didn't want to steal from he didn't want to be like The Undertaker, and Scott Hall was like, who cares? We're all the same shit. You can just be it. So he's been the Crow. I looked it up. I can't find Sting ever talking about this movie. The only reference is Scott Hall talking about telling him to watch The Crow and do it.
But he calls himself the Crow? And
he doesn't call himself the Crow.
Then what does he do? He just wears the makeup?
Yeah, he looks I'll show you a picture.
Oh, God. Okay. So he looks like the makeup. No, he has the makeup on. Does he have crow powers? The makeup you're showing me is not quite the makeup of the Crow.
But it is inspired by the Crow.
I guess. This seems like such a stretch.
But it is where he got it. Every wrestler will tell you Sting stole from the Crow. But he has no crow powers. There's no Skull Cowboy. There's none of that.
And then he didn't do a very good job. What he did was he took the idea of black and white face paint.
Yeah. Which wasn't good.
That doesn't belong to the Crow.
Oh my God, you're crazy. Everyone knows he took the whole thing from the Crow. And he made his whole revenge, getting back at people, the NWO, which was Crow-like.
This is like saying that I took my thing from Taylor Swift because she used to have blonde curly hair and I have blonde curly hair.
Look, you know what? If that was a Taylor Swift thing, I wouldn't know. I'm not a Taylor Swift expert.
And then you'd be like, no. Katie did take it from Taylor Swift because she tells everyone that. And then you'd be like, well, Katie's crazy.
No, I would never say my wife was crazy.
You did. You just did on this podcast. Everyone heard you. You said you are crazy.
People also ask, is Sting supposed to be the Crow? Did Sting take inspiration from the Crow? When did Sting become the Crow?
Sting's not even the only Sting.
Yeah, that's a wrestler. That's a wrestler, and the other one's a singer.
I'm just saying, he has nothing. The same name. I guess he has nothing of his own.
Hulk Hogan's not the only Hulk.
Only Hulk Hogan.
Okay, well, maybe you don't know his last name. Sting.
Do you?
No, I don't really know Sting's regular name.
Sting the Crow?
No, it's not Crow Sting.
I don't think it's as based on the Crow as you're saying it is.
It is. I mean, it is the Crow. It just is. I'm telling you, we did a poll with everybody that watched wrestling.
Did he have a backstory where his fiance is murdered?
No, it's just he looks like the Crow.
But he also doesn't.
But okay, I'm just telling you. He watched The Crow, he goes, that's what I'm going to do. Not like the
And then he does it not all the way and not even really right.
Yeah, he took the look.
Sort of.
Yes. And he's been doing it being a wrestler for any longer than anyone even remembers the Crow movie. But actually leads to my last thing about the Crow.
Thank God.
We watched the trailer for the new Crow.
Yeah, we did.
What were your thoughts on the new Crow?
I'm not excited about it. It looks, it's like slightly better quality, but I think they're still trying to hold on to some of the camp of the first Crow movie. But then that it doesn't quite work if you're not going full camp. Camp just looks tacky.
There was a moment in that trailer that you audibly said, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. It's when he shoots someone through a hole in his own stomach.
Yeah.
Because that did look cool.
I've never seen you in a trailer like, wow, holy shit.
I thought that was very creative.
Yeah.
That's that. I don't think this will be a good movie. It does look like maybe Skull Cowboy will be in it.
It does look like there will be some Skull Cowboy.
So that is exciting because that means there's hope for like an actual plot and explanation. But no, I don't have high hopes. And unfortunately, I guess I'll see it.
Well, folks, that's Crow Talk.
No, we're never doing Crow Talk again.
Crow Talk is an ongoing segment.
Let's talk about anything else.
We have been watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Donald Glover.
And Maya Erskine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really good. Not The Crow. It's good.
It is good. What do you like about it? Or do you want to just say it's good?
No.
We're only like 4 episodes in.
Mm-hmm. How many episodes are there?
I think it's 8 episodes for the first season.
Yeah, so we're already halfway through.
Yeah. No, it's good. Each episode is like a different part of their relationship.
Yes. I mean, but they're also in... So I thought there'd be more jumping around with it than there seems to be. When you said that, I was like, oh, it'll be like first date and then it's like a year in, and it's not. It's still chronological. Like it's...
Yeah, I guess what I meant was it was like each episode is a like general relationship timeline. Like this is the first kiss part. This is like saying I love you. This is like this kind of... I think the next episode's like what's it like to have kids kind of thing. But it's done in a weird...
Okay, well, we'll find out. But it's good. Would recommend.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's...
And it's really different from the movie. Because
yes.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it is. It's a totally different thing. There was a story that Donald Glover went up to Brad Pitt to get advice on what it was like to play Mr. Smith. Mm-hmm. And Donald Glover said that Brad just kept going, oh, yeah, you're going to be great, man. And like he just kept saying things like that and then left the conversation. And Donald Glover's like, I didn't learn anything.
Well, I mean, what advice is Brad Pitt really going to give? Like, what was he doing on that movie? He was cheating on Jennifer Aniston and breaking up his marriage and getting with Angelina Jolie. That's what that movie was for him. So I don't think he has any advice.
Yeah, it made him a star.
He was already a star.
No, I know. I think after that he started doing all like the Benjamin Buttons and like all trying to win an Oscar type thing.
Getting serious.
He made his money. Angelina Jolie says, you know what you need? Awards.
Yeah, well, she's a serious lady.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you want to get into our movie for this week that you made me watch?
Yes. So we watched 13 Going on 30. Classic rom-com, 2004. Jennifer Garner star vehicle. What did you think this movie was before we watched it?
I wrote, I think it's a lady wishing to be old, then she gets to be, but without the problematic big scenes.
And that's sort of correct.
Yeah, but it was like, because I went into this movie thinking big,
Tom
I was
Hanks.
thrown for a loop on a few items of this movie.
Yeah. So the movie is 13-year-old Jenna Rink. It's her birthday. She's in the 80s. It's like 1980. Oh no, I don't want to do math right now. What's 2004 minus 17?
1987.
Great. Okay.
I am 1 year old.
So it's 1987. And, things aren't going great for her. She feels like she's kind of a loser. She's got her best friend Maddie next door. But the 6 chicks, the kind of cool girls, aren't very nice to her. She invites them over to her birthday party, and they're like, oh, no, we can't make it unless you will do our report for us. And so she does.
They're like preteen mean girls.
Exactly.
Pre-mean girls.
So
pretty mean girls.
They come to the party, continue to be mean to her, which results in her making a wish. Thankfully, there is some magic wish dust.
Yeah.
On top of the Jenna dream house that Matt made for her. So she uses her wish to say that she wants to be 30, flirty, and thriving. She wakes up the next morning and she is now not only 30, flirty, and thriving, but it is the year 2004. She's also lived a full life, which she missed all of.
Yes.
And so now she has to deal with her life as a 30-year-old, working as a magazine editor at Sparkle Magazine, or not Sparkle, at Poise Magazine. And
Sparkle's the competitor.
Sparkle's the competitor. She's got a hockey player boyfriend. She learns that she's kind of a bad person and is mean to people. She doesn't see her parents. So the movie is her dealing with all of that.
You know what's interesting?
What?
Is I just realized right now, we basically watched Poor Things.
I did write down, wow, Mark Ruffalo loves to date.
That's funny, yeah.
Loves to date someone who has the brain of a child but the body of a woman.
Yeah, that's old Marky Ruffs.
Yeah, that's all Marky Ruffs. No, I don't. I think it's much more PG-13 than Poor Things is.
Oh yeah, no.
They keep it pretty clean.
But there is some problematic parts to it where it is clearly a 13-year-old girl just dating men and like drinking a lot.
Well, she has like pina coladas.
Okay.
I just think of everything that she's not like taking shots.
No, that's true. She's just drinking pina coladas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did not know this was going to be time travel.
Right. You were surprised by that.
So it took me a second to realize what was happening.
So it starts off in the 80s, and you thought we would now be in the 80s for this entire film.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I can't believe this movie takes place in the 80s. Like,
really leaning into big.
Yeah, it was really strange. And then she's like walking around, there's a cell phone. And I was like, wait, was the earlier part not the 80s? And then I was just really confused.
You figured it out?
Yeah, I'm actually a big smart boy now.
Oh, good. Congratulations. What did you think of the 80s part? I mean, you were 1 year old at the time. I was
exactly what I remember.
Negative years. Do you think it was a good little 80s portrayal?
I don't care for the 80s.
Okay.
Probably the roughest years of my life. I didn't know how to talk. I couldn't read. It was a tough time.
It is a tough time for you.
So, no, I guess, again, I know nothing about the 80s. Now, you want to talk about 90s? You want to talk about...
No, they skipped that.
You want to talk about The
Crow? The 90s are completely irrelevant to this film.
You want to talk about Mystery Men? Yeah, those are depictions of the 90s. No, I you know what I really liked? That girl looked like Jennifer Garner as a 13-year-old. Very good casting on that. Very
good casting. So this was like her first acting gig, and she got the role because she looked so much like Jennifer Garner when she was a child. That's like why they picked her. They were like, yeah, she seems awkward. That'll be good. Acting's going to be good enough. But mostly it's just like she is a believable child, Jennifer Garner. So much so that in Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, I guarantee you have not seen this film, with Matthew McConaughey.
I know of it.
Yeah. So Jennifer Garner's in that too. And there's a lot of flashbacks. And so she needed an actor to play her younger self. So she had the same person do it.
Pull out the Rolodex.
Yeah. She was like, I know who can do this. And just got the same person. She was great. I thought also the girl who played Tom Tom, aka Lucy, aka future Judy Greer, was really good too. Like, I thought they hit the mark on that casting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty solid. I have my own issues with Tom Tom, but we'll get into that later.
Oh, okay. And then the kid who played Matt, who plays a young Mark Ruffalo.
I hated that kid.
Why?
There's a couple things. The kid was overacting.
Okay.
And the kid did not look like a young Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I would say of all of them, he probably, you're right, he looks the least like his adult side.
Well, that's how I told you when I watched the movie. I was like, oh, that kid's going to grow up to be Mark Duplass. Seemed like a young Mark Duplass.
Close.
And then it was time travel, because I was like, oh, it's big, so Mark Ruffalo is just like an older guy that she meets. But no, it's...
I see. Okay. Yeah, well, they had him wear a fat suit, the kid, because he was like, this is what the director said, that he was like
crazy.
Too cool.
They made that kid wear a fat suit because he was so cool.
That's what he said, which, like, that seems pretty problematic to me.
Yeah, this is more problematic than big already.
Then they make a lot of references when they're older about, like, oh, you lost all the baby fat and stuff. Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting.
What's your secret? How'd you lose all that fat?
Fat suit.
It was never fat to begin with.
Also, in the 80s, we have the Six Chicks.
Yeah.
And two of them went on to actually become people. So we have, they're all people. I shouldn't say that. They went on to become, like, real actors.
When you pointed out that Brie Larson was one of them, I really thought the Six Chicks were going to be more prominent in this movie.
No, it's a very young Brie Larson. This was, like, early Brie Larson.
They'd have this old Brie Larson show up. I just thought... I thought she must have been a good actor as a kid. The Six Chicks must have, like, they might have, like...
No, she was, like, a child actor, and she just did a lot of this kind of stuff early on.
Who was the other one?
You won't know her, but Ashley Benson. Yeah. She was in Pretty Little Liars, and also that Spring Breakers movie with Selena Gomez and James Franco.
Yeah, I heard that movie's good. I've never seen it.
It's disturbing.
Okay.
It's a very disturbing movie.
People say that, and again, I know nothing about Spring Breakers other than that it's a weird movie and J-Lo's good in it.
J-Lo? Do you mean Hustlers?
Oh, I'm thinking, I've mixed up Spring Breakers and Hustlers.
That's crazy. Those are such different films.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why when you show me a movie, I have no idea what's going on. It's usually a mashup of 7 other movies that I think they are.
Oh, God. Anyway, that's the Six Chicks. So then we leave the 80s.
I never enjoy a kid that's like way too nice, but the person's treating them like crap. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. I just like, dude, you are a loser because you need to get over this. This person's not giving you what they want. And he thinks, well, if I'm just really, 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 really nice, and I don't like that message.
You're saying you don't like Matt, the kid, how he's still friends with Jenna even though she doesn't want to date him?
Yeah, because I think it's clearly he wants to date her. That's why he's friends with her.
What?
Matt's in love with Jenna.
I know. You think that's the only reason that they're friends? You think he fell in love with her and then decided, I'll be friends with her now? They grew up next to each other. They are neighbors. Their parents are friends. They've literally, like, grown up together. And then, yes, now he's developed feelings when he's 13. And that's unrequited. And he's being very nice about it.
Yeah.
So what you've said is insane.
I guess
why should a guy be nice to a girl when he loves her and she doesn't love him?
No,
that's what you've said.
No, what I guess to me, I feel like there's a toxic guy that's like, oh, I'm being so nice, you must like me.
Yeah, that is a toxic guy, and that's not Matt Flamehalf.
Flamehalf.
Okay, so I don't know. You take that idea and you put it somewhere else.
I'll tell you what, Matt doesn't grow up to be a great guy later on.
Yes, he does. He grows up to be Mark Ruffalo. What are you talking about?
We'll get into it, but he I mean, he does cheat on his wife or fiance.
Well, barely. And also, Wendy can go back to Chicago. You know who's in Chicago? John Cusack. She can get with him.
She was a nice lady. I think this is a classic. Sweet Home Alabama situation.
Well, and at the end of the day, keep in mind, at the end of the day, he still picks Wendy.
Yeah, he does pick Wendy and marries her. Now the question is...
No, he doesn't marry her. They don't actually get married.
They're going to get married. It's the day of their wedding.
Yeah.
But that whole timeline gets destroyed and all those people's lives are ruined because that timeline is erased from history.
Yeah, it is different watching this post MCU multiverse, post second season of Loki. Yeah. They've like trimmed this timeline.
I would love it if Jennifer Garner wished back and then the TVA just shows up and starts zapping everybody.
If only. If only.
Going into this movie, I knew very little about Jennifer Garner. I haven't seen a lot of Jennifer Garner movies. I've seen half of Elektra, which is a very tough movie to get through. And I saw The Family Change Up. Is that what it was called?
I don't remember. Is the
Ed Helms.
The Christmas family movie that she was just in with Ed Helms on Netflix? Yeah.
And I saw, wow. Jennifer Garner is very good at this very specific skill
of being a child.
Being a child in an adult's body.
Yes.
And she kills it. I mean, she's great in this movie.
No, she does. So this is like her first big starring role in a feature film. Prior to this, she really was more like a TV actor. So she was already doing Alias at this point, and you hadn't seen that.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's like a spy.
J.J. Abrams' Alias. That's where he got his big start.
So she'd already been doing that. I think Elektra was like coming up. But yeah, she played this like super serious spy on set, and then she kind of shared the idea of this film with some of her co-stars, and they were like, Jen, you have to do that because that's you. You are like this spy, and then when they say cut, you literally are like a 13-year-old girl. So you might as well like get paid to do that. So then she went forward with this movie, and yeah, she is fantastic.
She's great, and like just physical comedy.
Lots of physical comedy in this. They were like, oh wow, she's a comedian, and she really... Beyond this, like she doesn't have a ton of comedy roles. Even now, she does a lot of like family films, like the Christmas one, and she'll do that a bit. But she was in like Yes Day, which is another kind of similar, like family friendly, funny. But otherwise, she does a lot of serious stuff. She was in that like Apple TV series, the one based on like a book.
The Apple TV series that is based on a book.
It's like The Last Thing I Ever Told You is like what it's called.
Oh, is that the one you watched?
Yeah, it's obviously the one I watched.
Where
like her husband goes missing, and then with the stepdaughter,
I a few of
and they like go to UT Austin.
That was good, yeah. From what I saw,
I don't know.
I know, it just Apple TV show based on a book. I'm like, I got nothing.
She was in The Adam Project.
Did she?
Also with Mark Ruffalo, they played another couple. They were married in that.
Well,
they were Ryan Reynolds' parents.
When Mark Ruffalo sings an original song at the Oscars, he can sing the Jennifer Garner randomly as they're both nominated. Is Jennifer Garner ever got an Academy nomination?
I don't think so. I don't think
so either, because I can't think of a huge movie that she was in outside Elektra. I think Elektra might have gone straight to home video.
Jennifer Garner won for Alias, a Golden Globe. She was like nominated for Emmys for Alias, won a SAG award for Alias. She was nominated for Dallas Buyers Club, a SAG award.
Oh, that's good.
Because she was in that. Juno like didn't get anything. That was nominated for maybe like screenplay.
Yeah, I think it was screenplay. No acting awards were nominated, and Jennifer Garner's such a small part in that movie.
She's a pretty decent sized part in that movie.
All right. I haven't seen Juno in a while. I just assumed... I thought Jason... Bateman was a bigger role in that. But...
I think they're pretty equal.
All right.
Here's one. She did win Best Breakthrough Female Performance in 2003 for Daredevil at the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. It is kind of crazy. She's like a pretty big actor. I consider her like...
She's a known name, but I do think that is mainly because she is the first combining names in a relationship celebrity couple with Bennifer.
Oh, yeah.
So Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner dating, and Jennifer Garner just got that with Alias.
No, Bennifer is Ben Affleck and J-Lo. That's not Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner.
Oh, I thought it was Bennifer was Ben Affleck and he's a real Jennifer guy.
Yes, there was Bennifer, and then I guess Bennifer 2.0, and now we're back to the original Bennifer.
Benniferist.
Yeah, exactly.
Benefest?
Okay.
Benefest Destiny.
So she is great, as we've established. That's what this whole spiel is about.
She is now in the year 2004.
She wakes up in this beautiful apartment. Did you notice that her eye mask was the same pattern as the bandana that she was wearing?
Did not notice that.
Yes. The little details in this movie are like so good. At one point, like the song that is playing at the party when she is like making her wish and becoming a 30-year-old also plays like at the end of the movie.
Oh.
Lots of like fun little throwbacks.
Like when she is like at the wedding and wishing herself away, that song is playing?
No, the song that is playing at the birthday party when she makes her wish is then playing again at the end of the movie when
she returns.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, sorry, not.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, the song
am I understanding something poorly?
The song that is playing when 13-year-old Jenna almost kisses Maddie and then makes the wish to become 30 plays again when she and Maddie get married at the end of the movie.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. I see. That makes more sense because I was like, yeah, that's called. That's called continuity.
Yeah.
I almost said continuation.
The apartment in Poise magazine that she's like looking through when she's crying because no one wants to come to her birthday party. And she's like, I just want to be 30. And her mom's like, you will be. That apartment then is like the apartment that she's living in. Like the furniture is the same and stuff.
That I think I noticed that at the time, but did not take a note of it.
That's okay.
I do appreciate details. Because if you go back to that Family Change-Up movie, they care nothing about details, and it really takes you out of the movie.
Yeah, and that's why this podcast is not about that movie. You were concerned when you did see that there was a man in her apartment, and you go, oh no, because this is a 13-year-old girl, and suddenly there is... I mean, he's not fully naked. He has a towel on, but...
I mean, he's naked
that's
some parts
concerning,
of it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the nickname Sweet Bottom?
Not great.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
I also don't know. Like, let's just imagine for a minute what actual 30-year-old Jenna Rink is like before that she reverts to a 13-year-old. To me, she sounds like a very serious, kind of mean, rude, but smart person. I don't think she would appreciate the nickname.
Sweet Bottom.
I don't think she would go along with it.
So my argument for why he calls it Sweet Bottom and why is because, as you find out later in the movie, that guy's an idiot.
Yes.
And he wouldn't even pick up cues if you're telling him, I don't like Sweet Bottom as a nickname.
I don't really even get why she's dating him, other than I guess because he's a ranger.
Yeah, I think it's
famous.
I think it's all about like building your brand.
And she's like cheating on him with the ugliest man I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a power move though.
It's gross.
Yeah, no, she's a bad person.
Yeah. It would be confusing if you were like, this person is literally terrible. They are ruining. She's apparently so mean to her assistant and everyone that she works with. And then suddenly she's like,
nice.
A child.
She's nice for like 3 days and everybody is cheering for her. That's how bad she was.
And then your timeline gets zapped. That would be so crazy.
Yeah, you're getting your Zap timeline. You're like, oh my God, finally, after years of living this hellscape, I have a week of feeling Zap.
Prune.
We're gonna have to prune that lady. She's too happy. Classic time travel mistake.
Yep.
She goes to the office. I like the job. Magazine editor.
Did you realize that Lucy and Tom Tom were the same person?
I did not.
Yeah.
That was confusing until like it was clear. Like they mentioned it later.
At this point, it's been so long since I've seen this film, and I have seen it so many times that like I don't remember if that was obvious to me or not as a child. So
my favorite thing about the magazine, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he's great, right?
I love a boss. It seems like he's going to be maybe a jerk, but no, he's just like, hey guys, we got to like make this work and it's not going well.
Yeah, my only critique is that apparently his two like juniors, aka Jenna Rink and Lucy Tom Tom, are terrible people.
Yeah, and that doesn't help him. But
and really mean, and I guess that's the environment that he has fostered, but other than that, yeah, he seems to be mostly nice to them.
I think it's not necessarily the environment. Well, it is the environment he fostered, but I think it's more he's easy to manipulate. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of like in over his head.
Yeah, because
he's fun.
Because of the drama.
Because of the drama.
Between Poise and Sparkle Magazine.
Sparkle Magazine. Did you read magazines as a kid?
Yeah, I got 17 magazine.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying I got 17 magazines.
No, I subscribed to 17 magazine. I also subscribed to like Tiger Beat or like J-Pop. And then when I got into high school, I started reading Entertainment Weekly. All about TV and movies.
Well, look at you now.
I know, yeah.
Listen, you youngins out there reading Entertainment Weekly right now. One day you can have a podcast with your partner.
But 17 was like about as juicy as my magazines got. I wasn't reading like Cosmo.
Yeah, I don't think I had magazines. I would get a Mad magazine every time I was at the airport.
Nice.
That was my magazine reading.
Yeah, but in 2004, magazines pretty big.
Yeah, again, that's my senior year of high school. I was reading Mad magazine. Sometimes cracked. But
so we see Sparkle is copying their cover.
Classic mole
for the
situation.
past like 8 months. They cannot figure it out. And then one point they say, it's so funny, the technology in this movie, because yeah, it's all new to Jenna. That's like crazy. Not only is she now 30 years old, so she's gone from 13 to a full adult and has to know how to do adult things, but also 87 to 2004 is like a crazy jump technologically. Like you now suddenly have the internet and have to know how to use it, and you have a cell phone when like you can't even comprehend that, I feel like.
I am glad in this movie no one actually realizes that she's 13 in this time. Nobody.
Maybe concerning for them, but
even Mark Ruffalo like is just kind of like, this is weird, but it's nice to like meet with this person.
Well, I think
again.
it's partly because he didn't know adult Jenna.
Yeah.
Like the last he knew of her, she was like that. So he's like, oh, okay, this must just, this is what I remember her being like. So I guess this makes sense. More concerning for like Tom Tom, who has known her whole life and works with her on a daily basis. And suddenly she does ask if she's on drugs.
And she does hate her.
She does hate her.
So
and she's very self-involved. So I guess, yeah. And then the boyfriend is like a total idiot. Mm-hmm. And Andy Serkis is like very preoccupied with this magazine sabotage. And they're going to shut down the magazine.
I love the idea that Sparkle Magazine, they're making magazines, they're trying to compete with Poise, and they figure out this mole situation. And they're like, we'll just do the exact same thing, but one more.
Yeah, instead of the 10 secrets, it's the 11th secret.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's like killing the other magazine by clearly copying. There's no trademark, or there's no...
I don't know what the magazine world is
no
like.
legal actions you can take. But people are going to the magazine stand. They've always read Poise. And they look over at Sparkle and they go, it's a little bit extra for the same dollar. It's crazy. A crazy.
There's no brand loyalty anymore.
No, there's no brand loyalty anymore. This is the start of the fall.
Yeah, because of cell phones, probably.
Yep.
That's our take.
Do you think... Oh my God, I just realized Jenna goes back in time with all this knowledge of the future. Jenna is calling the White House every day. September 11th is coming up. And they're like, why is Jenna Rink keep calling us? She's like, I just need you to know.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't slip in just a quick, like, shouldn't there be some towers over there? From Jenna.
Yeah.
It's that kind of film. Do you think she invested in Apple, like, immediately?
Yeah, I hope so. She also probably was like, why is the vice president's son the president?
Do you think in the 2 weeks where she was in 2004, they were talking a lot about politics?
I think so, because 2004 we were having the Iraq War.
She could barely figure out who Eminem was.
Yeah, she was. That was a funny joke. I do like the subtle jokes that weren't pushed too hard.
They don't really spend time. They're not like, here, let's have her try and use a cell phone and spend time figuring it out. It's just she doesn't know where this beeping is coming from. She thinks she's going crazy. Someone says, that's your phone, gets it out, opens it for her, and then she knows how to use it. That's really nice.
Yeah, the movie is not about her adjusting. Her adjusting is just part of the scenery of the movie, which is really
it's where
good.
most of the comedy comes from.
Yeah, so I enjoy that a lot. Mm-hmm. So she's still trying to figure it out. She meets Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, because she's like, I don't know anyone here. So then she finds him by having her assistant call his parents in Jersey. They say, here's his address. She finds it. I don't know how.
I will say in New York, it's pretty easy to figure out the avenues and the streets. You just keep going until the numbers count down.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So she finds him and he's like, I don't know you. She's like, you're my best friend. And he's like, I know. Not anymore. You were really mean to me. It's very sad. But he helps her out, and that's nice. She kind of she's like, okay, I'm going to own this, and I am a big-time magazine editor at Poise magazine. And then she's like, I'm going to go to a big party.
Yep.
And that's where she has all the pina coladas.
All the pina coladas, and she brings the 80s back. Mm-hmm. Finally, this is what 2004 was missing, is a return to the 80s.
Yeah. She turns up the party with Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah.
And everyone does the dance.
I will say, there wasn't... Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe in the early 2000s, there wasn't that, everybody bring back the 80s type feel yet. I don't think that happened until, early 2010s.
This probably kickstarted it.
And that music is, the worst music playing. That was in so many movies. So many action movies had this music at every club that was vampires or dancing.
The Thriller?
No, before. The song that was playing that people were leaving to.
Oh, I don't remember it.
Yeah, just random beat with, techno kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Terrible
She's like,
music.
Maybe if someone played something better, people would stop leaving. And then she plays Thriller. And then everyone's like, what? What is this? And then she has to go do the dance, which she had memorized. And then she gets everyone to join her. She pulls Mark Ruffalo because he showed up to the party.
You need two confident people to make people do a dance. One confident person is never enough. And if a movie ever shows you one confident person starting a party like that, they're wrong. No,
you definitely need more than one. So when this came out, I was like, oh my God, I need to learn this dance.
The Thriller dance?
This is the coolest thing to ever exist. I need to learn this. I forced my mom to show me the Thriller music video.
You didn't get too scared?
No, I didn't get too scared. We watched it on YouTube, I guess, and I watched it over and over and tried to teach myself this dance thinking I would need to know it because this was like the original TikTok dance
this
of
is a
like
party saver.
Everyone I knew in my mind, everyone I knew was watching this movie and learning this dance.
When I was a kid, I wanted to learn the Thriller dance as well, but only because MTV said it was the best music video of all time.
Yeah. I asked my mom because she was alive in the 80s, and she was like, yeah, people knew the dance, but like not to this extreme and like not to the point where you would still remember it 20 years later verbatim.
Well,
so,
to her,
yeah, for
it was
her.
just tomorrow.
Yes, for Jenna Rink, it was just one day. So Mark Ruffalo did not want to do the Thriller dance. And he read the script and I guess he saw it and was like, oh, sure, then people do the Thriller dance. And I guess he didn't realize like he would have to do it. And truly, when they started rehearsals for it, he tried to quit the movie.
Oh, really?
He was like, I can't do this. I cannot. But like, Jennifer Garner's so great. And she was like, no, this is going to be fun. We could do it. She talked about this he just had his like Hollywood star ceremony, the Walk of Fame star.
Mark Ruffalo just had his Hollywood star in 2004.
Yeah, just like a month ago.
What did he?
No, in 2024.
Oh, 2024. Sorry. I was like, he got his Hollywood star in 2004 for what? But that makes more sense that it's now.
Yeah, and she spoke at his ceremony and was sharing about this. Mm-hmm. They're good friends.
I didn't know that. That's good.
Joe, they were in this movie together, and then they were in the Adam Project together. And they've been friends the whole time.
This is our second Mark Ruffalo supporting actor role.
This is a bigger role than Eternal Sunshine.
It is a bigger role than Eternal Sunshine. But Mark Ruffalo's just been secretly there in the background in movies that we love.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty great.
He's one of my favorite actors.
Really?
Of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I started noticing him in the movie Foxcatcher, which we might watch on this podcast. But I was like, oh, this guy's got like gravitas to like what he's doing.
Well, he's in so many different kinds of films because he can do like the indie thing, like we've seen in Eternal Sunshine or like The Kids Are All Right. Obviously, he's got the superhero thing going on crazily. But then he also has like the rom-com thing of this movie, Just Like Heaven, other movies.
Other movies. Yeah. No, he's great. I love them in Poor Things, another rom-com.
Nope.
Then after this party, they're all hanging out in the street, and everybody runs into each other.
No. That's that's after Jennifer Garner tries to go on a date with a child.
Oh.
That's like separate. She and Lucy go out for drinks, and which Judy Greer is like so great, and she ended up writing a memoir that was called something like Always the Best Friend because she's known for playing like the best friend in rom-coms.
Yeah,
and
this one she's
excellent.
not a best friend.
She's not. She's a friend of me in this one, but a bit different than her usual take. But I do think she does like a really excellent job, and everyone on set said that like she was the comedy guru. Like,
oh really?
If they wanted something to be funny, they would like go to Judy and like run it past her and be like, is it funny if I do it this way? And then she would like give them feedback.
That's interesting.
So really a lot of the comedy, I would say, other than like Jennifer Garner's physical comedy, probably a lot of it is thanks to Judy Greer.
So Judy Greer tells Jennifer Garner that some guy's checking her out. And it's just like, I don't know what was going on in the 2000s between this and Gilmore Girls that you're watching. What women thought was a sexy guy was just way off.
Totally.
Way off any feeling I would ever think. It's like guys are like, this is a sexy guy, right, ladies? Because he looks just like me. I'm the producer.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Garner goes, yeah, that person is cute, and goes up to a 13-year-old boy with spiked hair, a high school Joe hair level.
It's so funny because she walks, you think she's walking to the guy.
Yeah.
And then she walks right past him, and you see her land at a booth. There is a child there, and she so awkwardly asks if she can borrow his ketchup. And then she's like, actually, I came over here because I think you're really cute. That scene makes me laugh. I know it's like, I guess, inappropriate. They don't do anything.
No.
Like, and immediately Lucy comes and gets her and is like, Do you want to go to jail? Like, oh my God. So it's very like innocent, I think. And just so funny. How they all play it is like so funny.
Yeah, it's and then the kid's like, oh yeah, the kid plays it cool. The kid is cool in it.
There are a few teen interactions in this film between Jennifer Garner and actual teens that probably wouldn't be happening normally.
This is maybe to Jennifer Garner's how great she is as an actress. She seems like she fits in with every 13-year-old she talks with.
And whenever she plays like a mom I mean, she has 3 kids at this point. She didn't when she was playing this character. But yeah, she's just really good in movies with kids. I think she's like great at interacting with them on their level. I think she does an excellent job in this.
And then afterwards they walk into the street they run. Everybody runs into each other.
Yeah.
And this is, I wrote, what is this New York? Everyone runs into each other in very empty streets with no cars, and all of them are like, kind of famous.
It looks like they're in Soho.
Yeah, it looks like they're in Soho, but it's like there's no cars driving. It's completely barren. Mm-hmm.
It's 2004.
Her hockey player boyfriend is signing the 2 fans who are just randomly there. Then they leave, and then the street is just the 5 actors.
Yeah, it's just...
And they're all somewhat famous, and they're
the boyfriend, and then Matt, and then we meet Wendy, the villain of the film.
What? Wendy? I got the vibe when she showed up. You tensed up. You hate Wendy.
I do.
And
she's getting in the way of true love.
She's done nothing wrong.
She wants him to move to Chicago.
They're together, and she has a job as a newscaster on Chicago local television. And he's a photographer. He can move.
Can he? Don't they have news everywhere?
Well, this gets down to why Mark Ruffalo is a bad person. He has a fiance. He refuses to acknowledge that they're going to move in together when they get married. Mm-hmm. He refuses to even talk about going to Chicago. Mm-hmm. He doesn't talk about it to other people unless she shows up. Then he feels like he's forced to.
Yeah, they're really not meant to be together.
Then he kisses Jennifer Garner. And then he goes, nah, I'm going to stick with the wife.
They do have a kiss later in the film.
Later in the film, yes.
But it's just one kiss, and then he kind of realizes, like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Do you think he told his wife what happened?
No.
Yeah, because Mark Ruffalo is not a good person.
I think he's just confused.
You think he should be with the 13-year-old brain? That's true love.
No, I think he should end up with adult Jenna after she goes back in time and lives her life in a way that is good and right. And thankfully, that's what happens.
Thankfully, that's what happens. She does, yeah.
This is what I like about this movie. It does everything I want it to do. Those are my favorite movies.
Right after that scene, I wrote, Tom Tom is definitely the spy.
Oh.
I thought she was like...
That makes sense.
So in this movie, I assumed that the six chicks...
Uh-huh.
That they were going to talk about what happened with the 6 chicks. Because it feels like... It looks like Jennifer Garner takes over the group.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Tom Tom's got to hate that because she was kind of an asshole when she was a kid. Mm-hmm. So she's been holding a grudge this whole time. And that's going to come out because Jenna Rink is a little bit ahead of her. Mm-hmm. But that never came to be. She just was shitty the whole time.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what was going on.
Pretty much.
And Jenna Rink was just part of that group.
Yep.
Which frustrated me a little bit. I wanted more. I wanted some Tom Tom resolution. Mm-hmm. I wanted Tom Tom to have a heart-to-heart with Jenna Rink.
Nope.
About what happened and how shitty they were as kids. And no, she's just shitty the whole time. And then they go to Jennifer Garner's hockey player apartment. Mm-hmm. And I wrote, this is Ernie Hudson level insane apartment decoration.
Why? Because he has an aquarium with a shark?
There's an aquarium with a shark. There's a pinball machine that is like in the corner but out, and there's like a desk behind it.
That did bother you, yeah.
There's a very small TV. Mm-hmm. And there's pictures of himself on the table. Nice touch. But it's a table in the... Like, the couch is in the middle of the room with a table behind it. But then there's also space behind that table for trophies. And it feels just very much like they just threw a bunch of things in the one apartment. Not as crazy as Ernie Hudson's apartment, but it is like a crazy designed apartment.
Yeah, this guy's just an idiot. That's all it is. He's a bachelor, idiot, has a lot of money. That's the end.
Yeah. I just feel like if that was the key, I would have liked that apartment, and I just wasn't into it.
Okay. I don't think that's, like, super relevant.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so things don't go well with that because he's, thinking that he's dating a 30-year-old, and he's not. And so she doesn't want to make out with him. He does, like, a striptease to Ice Ice Baby because he's a hockey player. She's not into it, and it's very silly, and thankfully nothing happens. And we just move on.
Yeah, and then I guess they break up.
Yeah, I don't think we see him again.
No, he doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
This is what I think this is one of the issues I have with this movie, is that it does feel like storylines just like, well, that's over, and they kind of just peter out.
What else?
The Tom thing just kind of peters out. The whole movie, I just feel like there should have been more resolution in the future, other than this, like, and I told you this before, I'm frustrated with the movie because there's no stakes. She's just learning things and she's gonna go back in time eventually.
You don't know that.
You know she's gonna go back in time.
I know it because I've seen the movie.
I know it because I've seen movies in general. So I'm like, well, no one else is learning anything in this movie. Mark Ruffalo try to make it seem like he's learning something, but he's not learning anything because he doesn't exist.
I don't think they need to learn things in this movie because, they're getting pruned. It doesn't matter. The whole point is for Jenna to learn so that Jenna doesn't make the same mistake that she did this time, so that she doesn't become a six chick, she doesn't treat her parents horribly and everyone else, so that she doesn't become a terrible person and she remembers what's important in life.
Okay.
This whole movie is a journey for Jenna. It's not about the other people. They are there to help our hero learn what needs to be learned.
They're all sages along her hero's journey.
They're a guide. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it all comes to a head when we find out that, Poise is going to be done.
Yeah, they have to do a redesign.
Unless they do a redesign. And so now she's supposed to work with Tom on this, and they both kind of do their own things. And then Jenna gets to work with Matt for her. She hires him as a photographer, which is what brings them closer together through doing this project. And that is why they kiss after eating razzles.
It does say I wrote. This honestly is the most realistic photographer career. Where he just like kind of, oh, cool, work. Like, I can go jump on this and like.
I guess. I'm not a photographer. I don't know anything about it.
I feel like photographers are just constantly like, oh, this thing just fell into my lap. I guess I'll do that now.
I'm sure any photographer who listens to this and genuinely works so hard to find work is going to love hearing you say that.
No, I'm not saying that all photographer work is handed to them. I'm saying that photographer work is like, oh, thank God this thing fell in my lap. I need work.
Yes, I guess.
That's where it's because it's like gig to gig to gig, like doing stand up. It's just like, oh my God, thank God I have work this month or I wouldn't be able to eat. And then after they make out at dinner razzles, she goes to work. Things start to fall apart a little bit because she finds out she's been sleeping with the Uggo guy.
She finds out she's a very bad person, yes.
She's destroyed by this.
Because it's not just that he's ugly. That's bad enough.
Yes.
But he's also married to a coworker of hers.
That's terrible. If I found out that in my life, and I'm a 13-year-old Joe in my current body, well, I guess I would be 20, and that I messed around with a coworker's husband, I realized it was terrible.
Yeah.
Now, if the day before I made out with somebody that was engaged and that didn't
They
bother me,
didn't make out.
they made out.
No, they didn't. They did one kiss.
Okay. All right. It's still not good. I'm sorry. I want to get technical. They kissed. They not a makeout, but they definitely kissed.
If Greta Lee and her friend had kissed in past lives,
Yes.
would you have been mad at her?
Would I have been mad at Greta Lee if she kissed? Interesting.
Because this is basically the same as past lives.
This is Poor Things in Past Lives
This is
put
Poor
together.
Things and Past Lives put together with a great soundtrack.
Yeah, its soundtrack's a little all over the place. But
Soundtrack is perfect.
soundtrack's like, it's all 80s, but also nowadays songs.
Soundtrack was perfect.
Okay. And then I wrote, so this is problematic like Big.
No, it's not.
So she goes back to her parents.
Yeah, because she's like, I'm a terrible person. She takes the train back to Jersey as we listen to Billy Joel.
Are her parents good parents?
I don't know, because they seemed like good parents, but a little hands off when it was in the 80s, which is maybe what led to her continuing on as a sex chick. And then they go on a cruise, they come back, which I thought was very smart of like, ooh, we can't have her parents like be in this movie to help her. What do we do with them? Let's send them on a cruise, and then she'll see them when they get back and when she's ready to like change her ways. And then she asks her mom, like, she's like, have you ever done anything that you really regret? Like you really messed up? And her mom is like, no, because then I wouldn't be here. But again, this is like the first time that she has talked to her adult daughter in potentially years, is how they make it seem. So I'm like, hey lady, maybe you do have some regrets if your only kid isn't talking to you. And the first time you're seeing her or talking to her in years is you come home from a cruise and she's crying in the basement. Something's not right.
I have no regrets.
Yeah, so just casually, nope, no regrets.
The parents, thank God her parents are still alive, because that would have been the whole thing. She goes back. And
Oh, yeah.
one of them's just real sick.
That would have,
like,
that's
God.
a very different movie.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness. So she kind of gets on the right track. She's doing this redesign that's very wholesome. It's about like, I want to see my neighbor's sister's friend, blah blah blah, not these like supermodels, whereas Lucy's is like, she calls it fashion suicide.
Yeah,
it's like so crazy.
I said, oh man, I didn't know about this Tom push for the Crow magazine.
Get out of here. No more
It's Crow segment.
So they hate Lucy's, they love Jenna's.
Yeah, she makes Teen Vogue / Good Housekeeping / I don't know, just a regular local library.
It's cute. It's fun. I get it. And then, of course, Lucy being Lucy, she's got to take Jenna down.
Yeah, but she's just giving a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah, so we find out the big twist. Jenna's the mole. She's been feeding secrets to Sparkle the whole time.
And keeping the paychecks at her work desk under one magazine.
I know, she's so dumb.
She's so dumb.
So she had a deal with them that, like, she would get them to 1 million readers, and then she would be their new editor-in-chief. And so Lucy basically just, like, takes that deal instead and is going to go work for Sparkle. So then Jenna's kind of like, huh. Well, that's that.
She, like, her boss comes over and is like, Lucy stole everything. Mm-hmm. The Sparkle. Sparkle took your design. Mm-hmm. And then Mark Ruffalo signed over.
Oh, yeah. Mark Ruffalo comes to talk to her, but Lucy is the only one who's there because Jenna was going to talk to him.
Yeah.
Right? They, like, missed each other. And he signs a general release for the photos.
And Tom says that she went with a different photographer.
No, she decided to go in a different direction.
Was like a professional photographer. She like talks down to his photography.
Oh yeah, she was like someone who like does photography of the boyfriend of the hockey guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boyfriend of the hockey guy?
The boyfriend. the hockey guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, I missed this whole story. It was Andy Serkis. So does she mention that she's seeing somebody else or no? Just that photography insult, right?
Mm-hmm.
To really set the tone, like get out of here and like talk down to him.
Yeah.
And he leaves crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Jenna finds this out,
mm-hmm.
and she goes to find him.
Yep. Back to Jersey.
Back to Jersey. Back to their childhood homes, where they're getting him and his fiance, who did a surprise wedding.
What? No, it's not a surprise wedding. What are you talking about?
No, she like gets sorry. There's a part in the movie where the fiance and Mark Ruffalo are talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "We're getting married."
Yeah.
And he's very surprised at that. Like, did she set a date like all of a sudden, like to next week, or was it always gonna be that day?
It was always gonna be that day.
He just forgot about it.
I don't think he forgot.
Okay.
I think he knows when it is. He's just not that excited about it.
He's not that excited. I mistook that whole scene because I thought it seemed like she moved up their wedding date to a certain day.
So you're over here defending Wendy this whole time, saying that I should be okay with Wendy. Meanwhile, you think that she's planning a surprise wedding and moving a wedding date willy-nilly, and you're still defending her?
She is losing her man, and she's going all out to save that relationship. I applaud Wendy.
Okay.
And I give her a perfect 10.
No, it's not a surprise wedding. The wedding has been planned the whole time.
Okay.
Jenna realizes I think Jenna doesn't realize how close the wedding is until she goes to find Matt to tell him like the good news.
And his fiance
is there, and she's like, he's picking up his tux. The wedding is tomorrow. So then tomorrow comes. The presentation gets canceled because of Lucy's sneakiness and all of that. She goes back to Jersey in a cab driven by Chris Grandy, her like teen crush, homecoming king, now not doing so hot, played by Jim Gaffigan.
Actually, it seems like he turned out really hot. He's Jim Gaffigan.
He's early 2000s Jim Gaffigan.
He's Hot Pockets Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, and then she gets to the houses, goes to see Matt.
I get they're from Jersey. I did write, why did everyone move to New York City from this high school?
Because they're in Jersey.
Yeah, I guess they're in Jersey, so you just go there. She gets to the house. There's bridesmaids helping the fiance.
Yep.
Another sign this is not good for Matt. Matt has no groomsmen. There's nobody helping Matt. He's alone by himself in the room.
Yeah, we never see like a friend of his being like, hey man, weird that Jenna's back, right?
Yeah. He's just kind of by himself. She walks in and he talks to her. Mm-hmm. And it seems, and he like knew Tom was lying the whole time.
Yeah.
He just was like, I'm done with this.
I think he just was like, you know what? Clearly Jenna's life is very different from mine, and there's no place for me in it, even though, like, these past few days have been great. At the end of the day, we're different people who lead different lives, and that's how it's always been.
Yeah, she does a fashion magazine. I'm a photographer. We're different lives.
Yeah, exactly.
She's upset that he chose Wendy, but as a going away gift, he gives her the dream house.
Yeah, he still has the Jenna dream house in his closet.
Rebuilt it. Oh, we haven't mentioned that the reason he doesn't talk to her anymore is she threw the dream house at him.
Yes, she came out of the closet, got mad that everyone had left, threw the dream house at him, and then never talked to him again. The
amount of force to throw that dream house at somebody, that could really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
That was a big dream house.
Yeah, but she doesn't look very strong.
No, it feels like it probably just fell out of her hands towards him. But he rebuilt it, and then he gives it to her then.
Yep.
And she just leaves with this dream house.
She carries it out. She goes back to her parents' house. And then fate intervenes. The wind picks up. And what do we see in the wind? The magic wishing dust of 1987.
I need that dust.
And it
Give me that dust.
At this point, Joe turns to me and he goes, "Is she licking? Is she licking that house?"
Not that I thought she was licking the house.
That's what you said.
I thought she should lick the house. Like, she got the house, like, the wish dust. Yes, I remember. And then she just tries to get that dust.
But why would she try to eat it?
I don't.
That doesn't make sense.
I feel like that's the quickest way to get into your bloodstream, which is how the wishes work.
She didn't do that the first time. It's not necessary.
But in my mind, it felt like in a panic. If I was in a panic, right, and I got forced to the future, and I knew this dust got me there, I'm telling you, my first instinct was to eat the dust to make sure it reverses.
You know, I don't know if Jenna actually realizes that it is the dust that got her there. There's no realization of that ever.
I do love that. I didn't think I would, but I do like that it's just not explained. It just is.
She's not trying to like get to the bottom of what happened. She's just kind of like, I need to figure out how to live my life now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully, the wind picks up the dust.
And when she's trying to figure out how to live her life, her wish is, I want to go back. I want to go back.
Takes her back to the 80s. We see her in the closet. And Matt's opening the door to find her. And she jumps out and kisses him. And she's in love with him now. And then she stands up to Tom Tom. So you're like mad that Lucy doesn't get what's coming to her in the adult world. But she gets what's coming to her in the real world that's going to have actual consequences.
Oh, no, I don't want something coming to her. I want her to have resolution and be like, hey, I was like a dick as a kid because of this. And Jennifer Garner realizes it and they become regular friends.
Well, maybe she will now because she's actually facing consequences for her actions, which it seems like she didn't before.
So Jennifer Garner's just going to keep throwing drinks on her every time she acts up.
Maybe.
That's the sequel. 14 going on 31. Her wish when she got the dust might have been not that I want to go back to where it is. Her wish might have been, I want to destroy Wendy's life.
I don't think that's her wish. I think her wish is that she wants to be 13 again and live her life in a way that results in her and Matt being together.
Meanwhile, there's a 13-year-old Wendy fully unaware of how much her life changed.
Wendy might not even exist.
What?
We don't know.
What?
I don't know. Maybe she only existed in that timeline.
She only exists. No, well, it depends. If Wendy is 23 in that movie, which I do not think she is, then Wendy has to exist when Jennifer Garner's 13. You can just shrug your shoulder. Wendy is clearly a person that exists in the world. Or do you think where Jennifer Garner went into the future is the future, or was it like a just kind of a dream, like not dream, but like a separate journey she had to go through to figure out what was going on in that moment?
No, I think it's the future. I just don't care about Wendy, and I don't want to talk about her anymore.
Okay, all right. Simple. No lick in the roof.
So then we have a happy ending.
Yeah. She gets with him. They get married.
Yep. They move into their own dream house, painted the same color as the Jenna dream house.
Do they ever mention what her job is there? Because she's not running a magazine anymore.
No, they don't mention it. Maybe she is. We don't know.
Yeah.
She could have the same job.
Is there any big fun facts about this movie we missed in our discussion?
You mentioned the soundtrack and that you didn't care for it.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
A little bit crazy. The soundtrack?
I didn't hate the songs on it. I just thought that it was all over the place.
Right. Well, the soundtrack itself charted inside the top 50 on the US Billboard 200 chart.
Okay.
For quite a while. So there you go. But there was talks back in 2016, I think, that there was going to be a Broadway musical version of 13 Going on 30.
Did that happen?
It did not.
Okay.
But it was. And now last fall, they announced that there's going to be a UK stage production, and it's going to open in 2025. So if they do one on the West End, then maybe it'll come to Broadway.
Yeah.
I think it would be good. I mean, they're doing we've got Back to the Future, the musical. We've got Beetlejuice, the musical. I think we could do a 13 Going on 30, the musical. It makes sense. Kimberly Akimbo's out there. We're doing it.
Yeah. I for me personally, I don't love these 90s, 2000 comedies being turned into musicals. I don't like the idea that High Fidelity was turned into a musical. I just feel like that's more all about nostalgic.
But I think this one works because you can really lean into I don't know for sure that they would do this, but I think you could use some of the songs in the soundtrack and then also have original songs. And there's easily some fun. We already have the Thriller dance number. We already have the sleepover with the teens, the dress where they're all wearing boas and singing along to the Heartache to Heartache We Stand song.
Yes, I will fully agree that I can see this as a musical.
Yeah,
very
I feel
easily.
it already exists in my brain. So I'm just ready. Let's get to it, Brits. No
That's
other
not
fun.
Britney's. That's the Great British People. The Great British People.
No other real fun facts. Besides Jennifer Garner, they also considered Gwyneth Paltrow, Hilary Swank, and Renee Zellweger for Jenna Rink.
Renee Zellweger is the only other one I could see maybe pulling this movie off. It would be it would be a different movie, but I could see Renee Zellweger doing it. I don't think the other two would make any sense.
No, I think Jennifer Garner was the best choice.
Definitely.
Also, the fact that she wasn't super well known at the time, if you weren't watching Alias, you probably didn't know who she was. I think that helped.
What was the box office for this movie?
So the budget was $37 million. The box office was $96.5 million.
Oh, wow. 37, 96.5.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that is very good. That's so Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates was 33 million, and they made 20 million less.
Yes, well, this is a much better film than Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, I would say. Who would you cast Wally as in this movie?
That is difficult because my immediate thing is to have him as Andy Serkis, but I don't want to lose Andy Serkis in this movie.
Yeah, that's true. He's great.
So I'm assuming I would put Wally as her assistant.
Oh yeah, the assistant's very sweet.
Yeah, I wish there was more stuff for the assistant. It just felt like there was little storylines that just kind of with these other side characters.
When she's reading off Jenna's messages, and they're so mean.
Yeah, I think she's the funniest person in the movie for me is the assistant.
Oh wow!
I really laughed a lot of her talking, her just kind of somebody said something nice to me, just seeing that kind of reactions is good.
Yeah,
she was good at it.
Okay, well we could cast Wally as Jenna's assistant.
Thank you.
Sure. Do you have a good take, bad take, normal take?
Yes. My good take, bad take, normal take. My good take is I think Jenna should have gone back in time and done what she did to be in charge of Poise.
Okay.
Just been nicer about it, and she could have had much more of an impact than being married to her freshman high school sweetheart. There's more to life. You
don't want them to end up together.
No, I think what she needs to learn is how to treat people better and then kind of enjoy life. What she does is get stilted and stays in that high school person for the rest of her life. She gets scared about being an adult. Katie's eye twitched right at me when I said that. My bad take, I guess, was what I just said.
Yes, exactly. I think you got confused.
Okay, my bad take is what I just said. Mm-hmm. My good take is I want Jennifer Garner in really major roles in movies. I think I feel she's very good, and I'd like to see her in more stuff.
Me too.
Actual real movies that we've seen, Oscar movies.
Yeah, she should be in Oscar movies. She's so great.
In my normal take is, and I'm gonna push it. I think I think that Judy Greer and Jennifer Garner should have had a moment where they're crying to each other about their lives as kids.
Yeah, I just think that would have been really hard to do when Jenna is a child. Like, when Jenna doesn't know what she and Tom Tom have been through. Like, she doesn't know how mean they were to people.
Yeah,
she didn't live that.
I think there's a scene where she can be like, so what happened? Like, why are you like this? And then she goes, oh, why am I like this? Because this. And then you kind of go back in time. And instead of the drink, she gives her a hug and goes, I'm sorry. Like, just treats her different because she never got that treatment as a kid.
Maybe it's a deleted scene.
Maybe it's a... Wait, do you think Skull...
Maybe Skull Cowboy shows up.
Skull Cowboy...
Gets them to hug.
Skull Cowboy shows up to tell Jennifer Garner what the rules are for her being 30. Oh, you know what? You know what my normal take is?
What?
They need to make the movie now 30 going on 50.
Interesting.
Because you can de-age Jennifer Garner. So now she's 30. Her and Mark Ruffalo are in like the tough part of their lives.
Yeah, I guess she is 50 now because she was 30 when they filmed this. Like,
okay.
She was actually, which we've watched some movies where it's like 22-year-olds playing like 27-year-olds and stuff. But she is 30 and this was 20 years ago, so she is 50 now.
30 going on 50, I think, would be a good movie to come out.
Jen, are you listening? We want to see it.
we want to see it.
The people want a sequel.
The people want a squeakle. Alvin and the Chipmunks. More Alvin and the Chipmunk movies. Yeah, those are my good, normal, bad takes.
Yeah, would you say this is a good movie?
Oh, would I say this is a good movie? I was not ready for this question.
You should have been.
I gotta say that I enjoyed watching it. There were some parts in the story, though, that I was like, I don't know. It just seems kind of... But then I realized it doesn't matter. I'm getting way too in the weeds for a fun comedy movie where Jennifer Garner kills it the entire time. So, yes, this is a good movie.
Thank you. I agree. It is a good movie. And, yeah, I know that the plot isn't, like, the most sophisticated plot out there, but this is a movie for 30-year-old women to watch and remember what it's like to be 13, and a movie for 13-year-old girls to watch and think, is that what it's going to be like to be an adult? And I now have done both ends of the spectrum, and it's great on both sides.
You watched this movie as a 13-year-old and this movie now as a 30-year-old.
Yep.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Can't believe it wasn't your first thought.
No, I'm very self-involved. I'm a tom-tom in this relationship. Great. Yeah, no, this is a good movie. I very much enjoyed it. Thanks for picking it.
Anytime. Now you have to pick a good movie and not another Crow.
Oh, not Crow 2?
Not Crow 2.
Well, I got it.
Not
Give me
that.
a tick.
No.
Let me go to my computer for all movies. I am gonna watch a movie that I've been wanting to suggest since we started this podcast.
Okay.
But we had an issue where we got real silly for Ben Stilley. Mm-hmm. And so I've had to push this in the back burner because he is a part of this movie. But now I feel like we are 12 movies removed.
Okay. That's sufficient.
From Ben Stiller.
We can do another Ben Stiller movie.
I'm going to do a Wes Anderson movie. Mm-hmm. The Royal Tenenbaums, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Great.
It's what? I didn't say The Crow was my favorite movie of all time. I didn't say Mystery Men was my favorite movie of all time. You love Grand Budapest.
No, I think I'll like it, but
I think I'll like it. That's
as always, it's a bit concerning when someone says, this is my favorite thing, and then you sit with them and watch it, and now, like...
Okay, that is true. It is not great to sit down with somebody as...
I'm just worried I'm not going to like it as much as you want me to like it.
I'll be surprised if you don't love this movie.
God, now I have to love it?
This is a love movie podcast, baby.
Okay. We watched 13 Going on 30 on Netflix. Do you know where we're going to be watching Royal Tenenbaums? So everyone can follow along and keep up?
Yeah, the Royal Tenenbaums is for rent on Prime Video for $3.99.
Oh, you can't watch it anywhere for free?
You can't watch it anywhere for free.
Oh, no.
I can give you my DVD.
Okay, if anyone needs to catch up, just let us know and we'll send you Joe's DVD.
Of the Royal
Royal Tenenbaums.
It's got all the other additional things like behind the scenes, director's commentary, everything you need.
If you have a library card, your library probably has this available for rent, or some libraries have like a little movie watching situation.
If you reach out to us on the Instagram and you message us that you really want to watch this movie, but the $4 is too much, I will Venmo you the $4 so you can watch this movie. That's how much I believe in this movie.
It is your favorite movie. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be watching this, I guess, on Joe's DVD.
On Joe's DVD, like we're just staring at the DVD.
Well, we don't have a DVD player, so
much
it's going to be hard. I'm just going to spin the DVD really fast and hope that it plays.
Perfect.
That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, this was another good movie podcast. We appreciate everyone listening, and we appreciate our podcast editor and theme song creator, Kale Forbes, theme song vocals from Austin Fry, and our logo from Carrie Pulley. If you want to hear more from us, follow our Instagram at TIAGMpod. You can also find our personal Instagram handles there too, though it's mostly photos of our dog Wally. And you can email us at tiagmpodcast@gmail.com so that Joe will send you $4. As always, following, listening, subscribing, commenting, sharing, rating, reviewing is a really big help, and subscribing is the most helpful, so please do that if you can, but you haven't yet. I'm Katie Hetledge.
I'm Joe Bates. I can also do Zelle, and I can do PayPal.
We love you. Bye.
Toodles.
This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.